friends, welcome to Canadian Cutting Edge, and we've got the Hyler MAMBA today. We've seen knives by the name of MAMBA before, but this guy is a new company, new knife. This is their very first knife. I think it's still their only knife, and the only place you can find it, as far as I know, is on the American Amazon website, and right now it's $22.68 as I'm recording this. Hopefully this video will be released tomorrow morning. Hopefully that price will stay. You know, that's a 35% discount on Amazon right now. And I'll just come right up front and say, if it's $22.68, yeah, go ahead, buy this knife. It's definitely worth, you know, $23 US. It's probably worth more than that, but that's more up to you, you know, if you want to buy it or not. But if you're looking for just something rock solid that's decent, yeah, it's got flaws. It's got things going on with it that aren't, you know, great, but it's also got some really good positives as well. Go ahead and consider this. You can get it in this all black. 14C28N is what they say this is. I've got no way to confirm it, but I can confirm in my testing that it's a decent steel blade, certainly a decent budget steel blade. Or you can get it with green, OD green handle scales. So those are the two ways that it comes. If you want to know all my other feelings about it, a teardown, I'll give you a full set of specs. I do all my own measurements, and I've done my own testing on this thing. And everything that comes in the pouch with it. Stick around. We're going to go to the tabletop right now and take a full, close look at this knife. All right, I really do wish this was available on the Canadian Amazon site. It's not. It might be on some other Amazon sites around the world. I'll double check, and if I find it, I'll leave links down below. But I'll leave a link directly to this Amazon item down below for my American friends to find this and buy it. It comes with a pouch, and it comes with a spare pocket clip. It comes with a microfiber cloth. It comes with a screwdriver. This is a T6, I believe. So there you go. It's got, yeah, T6, 30 millimeter. It's not a great screwdriver, but it's an okay screwdriver. And it also comes with a pocket in this pouch, you know, zippered and everything. And that's embroidered in there. It's not just printed on there. So decent quality extra stuff, except for this. This I would just throw away. If I was keeping this, yeah, I would just throw this away. Useless. Sharpening through that, you're just stripping steel off of your blade. You're just ripping it off. Like, this kind of sharpening system's no good. These ceramic rods here, yeah, that can help tune an edge. It's not going to sharpen quickly at all, but it could help tune up a pretty good edge and make it, you know, pretty much better. But no, this is junk. If you want to carry your knife this way, you know what I would put in here? I'd put in here a pretty decent pry bar. That's what I would do, because you don't want to be prying with your knife. So now let's put this aside and take a good close look at this thing. Badging, it's nice and small. It says Hyler right there. It's got a little bit of their logo right there. And on this side, 14C28N, and that's it. You know, it would be nice if it just said in, you know, small letters, you know, maybe MAMBA right above the 14C28N. You know, name your knife. Yeah, instead of just saying Hyler, or maybe Hyler MAMBA there. But the badging's nice and small, and it's not obnoxious, and it's okay. The blade, what kind of blade do we have? We've got a drop point blade, a little bit of a swedge there, you know, decent belly, straight section here, you know, a high flat grind, and a black stonewash finish, a black wash finish. Pretty good. For the shape of the blade, it's very utilitarian. This is a very EDC blade shape. Good start. Like, you know, if you need to carry a knife regularly, this shape will get you most places, you know, get you most of the results you're looking for quite easily. So I like that. We've got thumb studs. They're T6 screwed in thumb studs. They're a little bit, they don't have great access right here for your thumb to get at them, but it works. You know, you get used to it pretty quick. And there you go. You can even use your index finger on the back, you know, flick it out and deploy the blade that way if you want to, and works just fine. We've got a button lock. This is one of the big pluses on this knife. For their very first time out, they did the button lock very well. It's nice and smooth action, solid lockup, no lock stick or anything. The button sticks out a little ways. Yeah, that's not the best. I like it when it's, flush with the surface but still easy to depress. But still, hey, for this price, that's not bad at all. And then we've got a pivot pin, 2 T8 screws on there, and we'll tear it down and show you what kind of ball bearings and everything it has. You can see the phosphor bronze cage in there, maybe. I do only record in 1080p, so maybe not, we'll see. Yeah, pretty good. Jimping, it's got good jimping. I would like more jimping further down. So when I really reach forward like this, if I'm cutting through something that's harder to cut through, I like having jimping further along the spine, but it's good jimping. I like that. And then we've got the stainless steel liners. They're skeletonized. G10 over scales. The scales are G10. And the pocket clip is okay. It goes on both sides. They got a spacer that they put on this side, so it's not just a hole. So that's really well done. But we've got T6 button screws. So that's a con that I don't like T6 screws, but we'll find out. They're not stripped out yet, and so that's fine. The pocket clip, we've got the spoon coming up so that when we go and put it into our pants, now where did I put my pants? I left them on the other side of the room. There we go. To go into the pocket, it just barely reaches over. So when you're doing it just right, it works just fine, but sometimes I found myself, not catching it, and so that the lift up there could be just a tiny, ever so tiniest bit bigger to come out just a little bit further, and that would be nice. Oh, I didn't turn this light on over here. Maybe that's going to help. So if that tip came out just a little bit further, not a big deal. That's a fairly small con. This knife's got several, but fairly small cons. The biggest one, if I was in charge making the decisions at Hyler, the first thing I'd say is make all your screws T8 or larger. It's just T6 just strip out too easily, especially if your screws are not very high quality. But let's keep going. Open pillar construction. So we've got an hourglass shaped pillar right there, and we've got a hole in the G10. It's not chamfered or anything, but that's fine. 550 paracord goes through there just fine, and the depth of the pocket clip fairly deep. Sits okay. Handle shape, it's basically a candy bar shape. That's what I say when the spine and the belly of the handle are pretty much parallel lines. Not exactly, but yeah, it's comfortable. The sizes are quite good for everything here. My hands are extra large in the width, a little shorter than that in the length, but yeah, comfortable handle for decent sized hands, and smaller hands can find it comfortable as well. One thing you might have noticed already that I haven't talked about is this flipper. It's a good size flipper. The one thing I'd change about this flipper is I'd put that same jimping, maybe a little bit finer jimping than that on this flipper, but it works. Like, you can deploy that knife easily with that flipper tab. Light switch method or pushing down just a little bit on the side works just fine. So you've got thumb studs, you've got the button lock that you can use to open and close the knife just by pushing the button lock, and you got the flipper. So basically a little bit for everybody. And then of course the flipper, if it had that jimping there, it would help protect it. If you do end up stabbing into something, it just helps reduce the risk of your hand coming up and off and over that edge. So that's a big thing I would change, but that's a decent flipper. I'm quite fond of this. How well did it cut? Okay. Not great, but not terrible. It's too thick behind the edge. They didn't bring this fine edge down thin enough before the apex. So I measure that. The thickness behind the grind is right after the sharpening grind. So where the stone wash starts and this silver sharpening starts, that transition point, how thick is the steel right there? It's about 25 thou thick. What's that, 0.64 millimeters, something like that. That's a little too thick. That's more for a heavy duty knife, like a hard use fixed blade that you're going to be smashing into something like a chopper or something. As long as the steel's still good, you want that kind of thickness, depending on the knife, maybe even thicker. But for a pocket knife, a folding pocket knife, I'd like that around 20 thou, maybe even less. So it needs to be thinner. And that's why it didn't cut as efficiently as it could. It wasn't terribly well sharpened from the factory, but it wasn't badly sharpened. I got a score of 205 best. Well, let's just go through all the measurements. So 205 best for sharpening, 25 thou, 0.64 millimeters thick behind the edge. The weight, 112 grams, that's 2.95 ounces, 3.95 ounces. So basically 4 ounces for this knife. Not bad though. The length of the cutting edge is 85.2 millimeters, 3.35 inches. Length of the blade tipped to the handle, a little bit more, 87.6 millimeters, 3.45 inches. So almost 3.5 inches. Now my friend Dave in Nebraska, they can carry 3.5 inch or shorter blades, without needing any special licenses or permission or anything. So it does fit into that. So Dave, if you're looking for a knife like this and you think the button lock or the thumb stud or the flipper, one of those might work well for you, this is not bad. Not bad at all for 23 bucks. The thickness of the blade stock, 3.09 millimeters, 0.1215. So just under 1/8 of an inch thick. Not bad. Blade depth this way, the widest point is 26 millimeters, 1.02 inches. And the blade, I did the blade length. Thickness behind the grind, I already did. The handle length, that is 114.9 millimeters, 4.52, so 4.5 inches long, and 3.5 inches long here, roughly, not quite. The grip area, so between my thumbs, it's around 9.5 centimeters, about 3 3/4 inches, depending on exactly which part of this rounded section you're measuring to. The handle thickness is almost exactly 12 millimeters, which is 0.472 of an inch, so just under a half an inch thick. The handle depth within the grip area, the widest point's right there, 25.2 millimeters, 0.99 of an inch, so basically an inch. When the knife is closed, the widest point in your pocket is right here, 35.2 millimeters, 1.39 inches, and the total length is 203 millimeters. What is that? Right around 8 inches. 4.5, 3.5, right around 8 inches long. So there you go. Like I said, Amazon United States link, referral link is down below. On the 8th of June, when I'm recording this in the morning, it is $22.68. Hopefully this video will come out on Friday. I'll be able to get it all edited and everything. So yeah, value for money, very good. Just, that sharpening thing, get rid of that. The rest of it is okay. I wish they would have included some screws with this, but we've just got this pocket clip. Some screws would have been nice because I don't like T6 screws. They strip out too easily. This handle's a little bit thin, although there's some grippage on there. But let's take this thing apart, and there's no thread locker on there, because one of the other cons on this knife is, no thread locker there either, is the pivot screw. It starts to come loose while you're using it. Yep, it's loose again. Now, they did not use thread locker on there, which is a good thing. So this is not a con that they didn't use thread locker. It's just something you need to be aware of, because, that's the pin itself. So the pin's out. So it's going to fall apart now. You're going to want to use something like VC3. This is what I use all the time. VC3 Vibratite. It's not like a traditional thread locker. It's much more versatile than that because it doesn't cure hard. It lets you take the screw in and out manually with a screwdriver without much difficulty, 6-7 times before you'd have to change the stuff. It is a bit messy to apply and stuff, but if you like regular thread locker, I would suggest going with the purple. Vibratite's got one. It's the this guy. It's their 111, which matches thread locker Loctite. It matches Loctite's 222. So, but the purple, that's for small screws. People use blue on knives all the time, and blue is for bigger screws. 1/4 inch screw, the diameter of the screw, 1/4 inch and bigger. That's what the blue's for. The purple's for smaller screws. Plus, that way, if it does cure perfectly, It's not going to be a problem. Okay, another little con. Here's the pivots, the ball bearings. They're tiny. It's a phosphor bronze cage, tiny steel ball bearings. I would like something that's bigger, like wider in diameter and slightly bigger balls. That would be better. But remember, you're getting this for 23 bucks. Even if you're paying 35 bucks for this knife, that's not bad. It could be better, but it's not bad. You can see the skeletonizing there in the handle, and there's the spring for your button lock mechanism. You know, decent spring. So yeah, it's fairly well made. Spacers here, standoffs, nicely done. The screws, yeah, you can see this screw here is already being, well, it's got the paint, the black paint coming off of it already, and you know, it's only been taken apart once. Oh man, that's tight. Actually, the pocket clip probably has never been taken off. That's very tight. Let's use a better screwdriver that fits in a bit snugger. There we go. It's a better screwdriver, and I really like these. You can find these at KC Tool. I've got links down below in the video description for really good tools. These Wera tools, it's a German brand, but they've got factories like in the Czech Republic, Czechia, which is, I think, where these ones were made. But get yourself high quality screwdrivers so that when you've got low quality screws, you're less likely to strip them out. So, yeah. Now, a couple other things about this knife as I'm putting it back together. Hopefully I can put it back together in a hurry. I'm going to actually lubricate that a little bit while I'm doing this. The blade alignment, when the pivot screw snugged up nicely, the blade alignment was very good. It's a great blade alignment, so don't mind that. I'll put this in here first. Yep, and put that in there, and put that on there. The blade alignment's good. The lockup is solid without any blade play until you've used it for a little while, which is why you should use this stuff, or some other stuff. But I can't see very well because my eyes are not. My eyes are starting to fail, and my eyesight's getting really bad. Stop pin right there, put it in place. Actually, I'm just going to cut forward to when I've got this thing fully assembled again. Okay, so I put the VC3 Vibratite on. Oh, I still got my macro lens on here. Oh, I'll just wrap up this video anyways. I put that on there now, so if I do end up selling this, and hopefully I'll do a knife sale in February. I know I've mentioned that in the past that I'm going to do knife sales, and I just haven't, but we'll see. Hopefully I'll get it done. Oh, a little bit of oil residue right there. Don't want to use that cloth. I'll be right back. Because I did lubricate it with my Gunny Glide. I really, really like that lubricant. And smooth action now, and hopefully that's not going to loosen up. I've still got to let that cure, so I'm not going to use it too much, but yeah, decent knife. The pattern on the G10 is a little bit different than most, but the texture is grippy enough, quite comfortable. And like I said, that spacer, for the price, this is a good knife. Now let me really briefly go over my list of pros and cons on this again. Really good button lock. Good blade alignment. There you go. You can see the blade alignment when it's closed. Not perfect, but very good. Comfortable handle. It might be 14C28N. If it isn't, it's a good budget stainless steel. Grip is comfortable. Jimping's nice. I wouldn't mind a little bit more jimping than what it has. Focus on the knife now. There you go. So that's not bad. Good blade shape for EDC, this drop point blade. Good finish on it. I like a nice stonewash finish. A blackwash finish is good too. Things that are sort of neutral, they're not really pros, not cons, but things that I would do different. These thumb studs, they need to be a little bit bigger or a little bit better access made to get your thumb in there. It's not bad. It's just, it'd be nice if it was a little, these were a little bit bigger. They're exactly flush. you know, the button for the button lock sticks out a little bit too. If these could either stick out a little bit or better access be made, that'd be fine. The G10 is chamfered here, so that's kind of nice. Flipper, some jimping on there, that would make it better. Yeah, put the word MAMBA on there too, but I like that the badging's nice and small. Again, I got oil on there now. The screw comes loose on the pivot, so you're going to want to deal with that. That's not a Pro or a Con. I'd rather have it like this than Loctited together that I can never take it apart. Like this, you can take apart at home, no problem. You know, it's just you want to do something to help it, you know, stay together while you're using it and carrying it. T6 screws. I just about stripped one of these off when I put it back together again. So these are cheap T6 screws. So better screws, and T8 or larger is highly, highly preferred. That's one of the big things. Pocket clip, you know, just a tiny bit more. That's not a big con at all. That's a very tiny thing that might not bother anybody. And you can bend that yourself. You got a spare one anyway. So, you know, bend the spare one up just a little bit. Focus. Bend that spare one up just a little bit more and try it out and see if you like that one better than the other one. You know, just be careful when you're taking the screws apart. Yeah, that's about it. I like this. Definitely for under 23 US dollars, this knife is a steal of a deal. And hopefully Hyler will keep making knives. They've come out of the gate quite well. They've chosen, I'm assuming they've chosen one of the better known OEMs to make this knife. Feels a little bit like QSP's lower priced knives. A little bit, except for these screws. These screw heads just seem a little bit too soft. Like QSP doesn't use really soft screws, but they do use T6 button screws. So I don't know. Whoever they chose did a pretty decent job. And I can't zoom this camera out at all. This lens is a fixed lens. It's what I usually use for my macro shots. So just deal with this at the end. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. And we'll see you next time on Canadian Cutting Edge. Remember, always cut towards your chum, not your thumb.